guys, just a quick fill-in. I am a Chassis Unlimited affiliate, and I will have a discount code in the description below. Thank you guys for watching.
Also, forgot to preface this, guys. I'm not a mechanic in any shape, way, or form. I don't own a shop or anything, obviously. This is just for educational purposes. Like I said, hopefully to help somebody out with the removal and installation if they decide to do so themselves. Enjoy. All right, guys, I've got a 2015 Ram Powerwagon. I recently bought a Chassis Unlimited Octane bumper, and just looking online, I like to watch videos and shit before I do, go for it myself. And there's none. There's videos, a lot of videos of, people getting the bumper switched out. It shows up at a shop, and then bam, it's done. There's a couple videos of them removing the stock bumper, but it's on a regular Ram, not one with a winch, which I know the winch isn't that big of a deal. It's a couple of bolts and the cradle will drop out, but there's just no videos. I like to have videos. I like to see stuff before I do it. So hopefully I can make one for you guys. I'm going to start by removing the bumper, which I guess I have to take out these pop rivets for the shroud, and then I can take off the grill so I can get access to a couple of bolts up here. And then it looks like it's just 4 bolts on each side, plus these little 10 millimeters here on the fender liner. All right, with the shroud removed, it was just 6 pop rivets, which I just used a trim removal tool for. Makes life easier. You can use needle nose if you want to. And then it looks like my grill has been off before, but there's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4 10 millimeter bolts, and then everything else is just held in with clips, so you should be able to remove these bolts and pop that out. All right, and with those 4 10 millimeter bolts removed, it looks like my grill was replaced sometime or another. It is just a couple of these Christmas tree clips, and it just pulls straight out and then up, and you can remove your grill. All right, with the grill removed, I got better access to the 4, I believe these are 18 millimeter bolts up top. And then there should be, I think, 2 more down at the bottom. So what that'll do is it'll actually just drop off the bumper like frame. And then I'll still have to take off these brackets, which are also attaching the winch to it. So better access with the bumper off. So let's get that done. All right, I got the top 4 out. I had to use a wrench because it's a little bit too tight in here for a socket set. But now we're going to go on the inside and remove, I believe there is just 2 more studs, one on this side, one on that side, and this should drop out. All right, here's the look from the underside. You had the stud up there, this stud, and this stud, and it's going to be the same for the other side. So let's try to get this thing off here. All right, one more step before you fully remove the bumper. If you have fog lights, go ahead and unclip from the main harness there, and that way you can just pull everything off all together. Almost forgot a couple of these push tabs in here for this little valance. I don't think the Chassis Unlimited bumpers has a provision for this, but I'll save it for later just in case. All right, and with that, the bumper is off there. I did end up just pulling these push tab out of the frame to let me get a little bit more access to this, because this was a little bit of a pain to get at from underneath the truck, even with it down here. So went ahead and gave myself a little bit of room, pulled off the bumper, and then I was able to obviously just hold up the bumper and disconnect it from here where I get both hands on it. But yeah, bumper's pretty light. You can do it one person. The Chassis Unlimited bumper and the winch is probably going to be a different story, but I'll see. So that was about as far as the online research got me. A lot of people said that the winch cradle is actually welded to the bumper somewhere. I mean, I'm not seeing it right now. Doesn't mean that it's not. But what I'm going to do is I might pull these bolts first. That way I've got a sledge that I could just slide this out. If I can, but it looks like obviously this tow hook bracket might be in the way, so I may have to remove it all at once. I'm gonna get a jack with like a 4x4 block under this side to hold up the winch, and then yeah, I think I'm just gonna start taking bolts out. Gonna remove these crash bars. These are like a like an afterthought thing, I guess, because they lifted it from the factory. They had to keep cars from going underneath it. So yeah, that's what those are, but they are coming off. And then yeah, let me get a jack and start taking stuff apart. All right, so fun fact, you cannot remove that with the cradle in, so I'll have to unbolt the cradle and I guess like slide it out of the way to get that out. I'm assuming, yeah, that one will be the exact same way. So at the moment I don't have any real plans for unhooking this. I'm gonna take there should be a C-clip, take the C-clip off of one of the fair leads so I can get this back through it. And then yeah, I guess I'll drop the winch and see what it looks like to unhook it and let you guys know. All right, just to show you guys what I was talking about, you just have it's a C-clip, or a lot of people call it a Jesus clip. You just kind of pry at it with a flat head and it comes off, and that whole rail just slides out of there. It just occurred to me that I will need a fair lead for the new bumper, so I may end up going synthetic after this, I guess. All right, sorry I keep jumping around. I'm going to try to edit this to make it make sense. These are 8mm to remove your winch controller plug-in, and I am hoping that plug will actually fit through that hole. I'm assuming it will. Let's see. Yeah, need 2 hands. All right, so I was able to get these bolts loose. They're a little bit rough to get to because they're just in a awkward spot. You can't really get air to them. It's hard to get a larger ratchet to it, but did the old mechanic's trick of tossing a jack handle on there to get the leverage to start getting that off. So plan is to get those off, pull it forward, and then drop it down, I guess, and then I could take off those inner brackets. It doesn't seem like they're welded on the 4th gens, so that might have been a 5th gen thing, I think, but not on 4th gens. And I almost messed up. While it's still semi-attached, go ahead and loosen up your 4 mounting screws or bolts for the winch. A lot easier while it's connected to something than trying to break that loose while it's on the ground. But all right, everything is undone. I even have the side bolts out. I can't take out this top one obviously because it's interfering with the bracket there. So I got the same thing on this side. She's loose, so I think I can just pull it forward and lower it, hopefully without dropping it. All right, so a little pro tip here. I was able to wiggle the winch forward enough to start getting those out. This one, I was actually able to rotate that bracket up and out of the way and then slide it over so I can get both out. So I should be able to get both tow hooks out, both brackets, and then just slowly lower this to the ground. All right, I was able to get that to work, but remember, you've got one push pin here right into the frame, and it looks like another one right there into the little cross member shoehorn there for the pitman arm. So yeah, remember those, otherwise it won't come out. All right, I'm still removing the winch. Right now I'm removing the power, and the negative is that far right side. That one is a 10mm, and the negative is a 13mm. I'm just gonna remove these. Obviously make sure that doesn't touch power. Come on. And then put them out of the way this way so that when the winch starts going down, pulls those with it. All right, not too bad. A little bit. It slid off as it was coming down, but nothing too bad. The wires are already loose coming down. Didn't really do anything, so that's nice. The reason why it fell over is because it hit the sway bar coming down, because, you know, I'm on dirt. I'm always putting shit together on dirt. So if you've got a shop, you'll be fine. All right, the instructions want me to bolt the wings onto it and then just set them flush. Bolt them tight and then put it on the truck. I'm obviously going to put the winch in first, and I'm going to try to use just a jack since the bottom is pretty flat there. So I may be able to get it up with just a jack. If not, I've got an engine hoist with some straps I'll try to use and finagle it on there. But let's put this thing together. All right, while I'm here, I'll give you a quick rundown of the hardware that we got going on. It had 2 little blister packs here that were your washers, your nuts, and 8, I think they're 9/16 bolts, which are going to be for the wings here. Had those. This first pack is for your instructions, and actually had these brackets in it. I'm assuming that's what these are for, is to mount these brackets, because there's only 2 of them. And then everything else is to mount the bumper. So you've got 2 here and 2 there. And then the crash bar that I took off, that is where this mounts actually. So that's where they want you to reuse your hardware from your truck, is the actual crash bar, because they are some larger, I think they're 15/16 bolts. But when I get back to the truck, I will try to video. Alright, I got the rest of the cradle pulled from the winch. This is going to bolt onto the new bumper. I'm going to use the old hardware, clean this up a little bit, to bolt it to the new bumper. I don't think the control box will be in the way because it's so low profile. If you had like a regular one where it's a huge dome with all the relays and stuff in it, it might be, but the stock one's not. And then that section there is where the crash bars were, which are these guys here. And then they did bolt with those larger black 15/16 bolts. So those are the ones that they're wanting us to reuse to install the bumper, because it looks like they gave us hardware for those 2, and then the bottom section is what's going to be reused. So let's put it together. All right, so here's something else I don't tell you. With a factory worn winch out of the Ram, this is actually clocked, so the planetary side is clocked down, so you got your mounting position down here. So on the Octane bumper or any other stock mounting surface, this would be straight down, whereas in the cradle, this was actually forward. So you have to take these out. I believe these are a 3/16 Allen. You have to take these out and reclock this. And then I talked to Chassis Unlimited, and they said, oh, you can get a new handle for about $100. I'm just going to cut and weld mine because I have that option, and my truck is apart. So, but as far as clocking this, I think I can just pull these out. Let's see. We'll do this in real time. But I believe I can pull all these out and just rotate the housing slowly. Yeah, so I can rotate the housing where I need it to be. Okay, so FYI, if it's engaged, it will move the spool as well. So, but yeah, let me, I think straight up should be fine. I think I'm going to clock it forward 1 set to where it is facing forward slightly. And this will be really small, or really short after I get done with it. I'll have to load it into the bumper and double check to see where this will actually come out. I think probably clocking it straight vertical like factory would probably be best. So I'm actually going to leave it like that. All right, so I ended up reclocking it again to where it's pretty much facing straight forward, because that is going to be the hole that I'm going to be able to access that through. I may do it later, but I think I'm just going to weld a T-handle onto this or something stupid just to get by for now, and then later on I'll take this back down. No, I won't. Anyways, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, let's get this installed. All right, so I got the winch and the new bumper. As you can see, I kind of just straddled it over my jack, lifted the jack a little bit to where I could see the mounting holes underneath. I just got the back 2. I'll do the front 2 when it's in place. Whole idea is obviously to put the jack back down. I might be able to just use the jack and not a 4x4, but I may put the 4x4 on there, lift it up into place and put some bolts in it. All right, so I skipped ahead a little bit. Basically, all I did was put my jack dead center, lift it up as far as I could, and then just lined up the brackets and then pushed it forward. And now I'm just using it to fine tune. I've pretty much got everything where I want it. This side's where I want it. I'm gonna move the jack over to this side, put some pressure on it, and give it some love taps and move it around so it's slightly tighter, and then tighten up everything. All right, so basically all I did was reinstall the grill, with those 10 millimeters. Still got to cut the fenders and get lights. I wasn't 100% sure on how many lights because they said with the winch you wouldn't be able to fit all 8 cube lights in there if that's what you want to do. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I didn't order any, but I'm going to end up getting a bunch of aux beams, different floods and different beams and stuff like that. But yeah, that was pretty much it. You can kind of see in there where the lock handle is. I did clock that up 1. So I think in the other video, I was going to put it like vertical, but that'd be really hard to get into, especially if I put lights here. But this access hole, it was clocked down 1 further to where it was like almost at the bottom. So I did unbolt that and clock it up 1. So not too bad. I still need to get a fair lead or switch over to synthetic to where I can have a newer fair lead or whatnot. But other than that, these I'm gonna have to get some self tappers to get through those because the powder coating and stuff like that made it to where the stock ones won't fit, and I think they're slightly too narrow. So other than that, it is finished. Here we are. It's the next day. I kind of ran out of daylight yesterday. I just buttoned a few things up today. I was able to remount one of those to fit the factory, I think it's an 8mm bolt or something like that. But the hole offset was a little bit too narrow, so I'm going to have to re-drill one of those, but not terribly worried about that. Looks incredibly naked without any fog lights in there, but I'm moving on now. I have to cut the, oh, can't really see it, the fender liner in here. I'm thinking I'm just gonna follow the body line here. I may cut it a little bit higher up and then just kind of follow the body line. Because I'm just gonna follow the body mount up to this fender mount and just kind of go up and then across, probably either with the top part of this, because obviously this doesn't mount to anything. What I'm going to be using is just a hook blade. We use it in roofing. It's really easy. Once you penetrate into the plastic here, it kind of just glides straight down. So you don't have to worry about cutting through too far and hitting anything else. It kind of just glides with it. So let's give that a shot and I'll let you know what it looks like. Okay. Now that we're on the inside, I did start right here, a slight angle downward. There's almost a line for me to follow right here of a curve. I followed that, and then I just went into, this is where it actually mounts to the fender here with a push pin. Just went into this divot and then followed the mount around. And then there's already an angle up here. I just kind of followed that. So literally a little bit of an angle down, straight across, followed this up and around a little bit, and took a straight shot from here down and cut that off. Now there's whatever this is. I'm just gonna cut that right behind this fender mount, you know, all the way across, probably to like this section here, just to get it out of the way and make sure it doesn't flap in the wind or anything. Got it all trimmed up now. This is the finished product. I can't really see anything from the front here. Sorry about the glare. Can't see it through here anymore. All right. Just to reiterate, on the driver's side, where I ended up cutting, I just kind of cut at a slow downward angle, and then this is that line I was talking about. So slight angle down, follow this line. This one may be a little bit, no, this will be perfect. Same thing, follow this in here, right to the bottom of that edge there, and then here's the taper I was talking about, and I just kind of cut a straight line to it like that. So let's get this one cut. Okay, so this one didn't have the random extra liner up there, but your fog lights are right behind it. So when you're coming around this front side, just make sure you're not cutting into it. I may use a factory wiring for the fog lights when I get some 8-inch cube lights. I'm not sure yet. But for now, probably just zip tie it out of the way somewhere to where obviously it's not dangling down. Actually, I think that was the factory spot where it goes. Yeah, so either that or I'll zip tie it up to where it doesn't fall down again, but that is complete for now. Okay, so here's the finished product. All in all, wasn't too bad to do by myself. If you've got the opportunity to get some help, do it. as soon as you put the winch in there. I mean, even without the winch, the completed bumper is really heavy. With the winch in it, stupid heavy. It's really hard to actually just slightly maneuver it around just to get it on my jack to get it into place. But doing it by myself wasn't too bad. You've only got 8 bolts in there. Whereas something like this thing, it's a unibody. I think it had like 18 or something bolts in there. But yeah, to get lined up and finished. So the 8 bolts wasn't too bad. It does look really naked without lights, just FYI. So I'll be getting those in the next couple of weeks. And then I have to decide if I'm going to get a roller fair lead for the wire or if I want to switch out to synthetic. I'm thinking I kind of want to switch out to synthetic. For now, I'm just going to kind of put that to the side. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully this helped somebody. I know that I couldn't find any videos specific to Powerwagon bumper removal with the winch and then installing this bumper or something like it. Just didn't exist. So hopefully this helps.